How many victims?
There was none for her.
How many victims potentially do you think there could be?
Thousands. Thousands. I've talked to hundreds that I deal with still myself, who are willing to give testimony about not only what Mr. Carter has done to them, but his wife as well. They're a nasty little couple. They do nasty things.
I feel like some of you just do not know what children are supposed to act like because you beat your children into submission. So when you see a 7-year-old acting like a 7-year-old, you feel like something is wrong with them because you guys are still teaching your children to be seen and not heard. People saying Rumi looks like she has autism is so crazy to me because, again, like, what does that look like to you guys? But also, if she does, who cares?
So I'm on the set of a photo shoot today for my book, and I wanted to tell you a corny joke because I have on all this glamorous hair and makeup, thanks to Cole and Darius, and Sienna on camera work. Got a corny joke. Want to hear it? Here it goes. So what happens when a snowman throws a tantrum? He has a meltdown. Y'all know that's funny.
What's good, and welcome back to StarHush, where we pull up with the truth and spill it how it really is. Let's get into this, because folks have really been showing out lately, and not in a good way. So look, it's been no secret that Beyoncé and Jay-Z have kept their twins, Rumi and Sir Carter, away from the cameras and off the internet radar. And for years, people been questioning why they so private with their family. But now, y'all just gave her every reason to keep doing exactly that. During Beyoncé's Cowboy Carter performance, a moment that should have been filled with love and applause, she brought Rumi out on stage with her. It was a beautiful mother-daughter moment, the kind of thing people usually celebrate. But instead of enjoying it, the internet got messy. Real messy. The second Rumi stepped into the spotlight, folks switched up. They started zooming in, picking apart every blink, every move, every little expression like they were medical experts. People were throwing out wild claims, saying Rumi looked like she had some condition, talking way out of line and spreading harmful assumptions. It was nasty work. And Beyoncé, she's not the type to let that slide. She's always been a lioness when it comes to protecting her family. And this moment just reminded her exactly why she keeps her circle tight. She's done with these internet diagnoses and people thinking they can comment on her daughter like she's a trending topic. Let's be clear, Rumi was simply being herself, normal, happy, and surrounded by love. And now, we gotta talk about the moment that had everybody shook. Because what happened at Beyoncé's Cowboy Carter concert? It was beautiful, wild, and messy all at once. So first off, let's talk numbers. Queen Bey's latest tour has been making waves, but not just for the music. Folks been whispering that the ticket prices are way too high, like premium level prices. We're talking big money just to step in the building, and with that, people are saying maybe, just maybe, Beyoncé's time to step down is creeping in. Why? Because even with all the hype, some of those seats been left real empty. But say what you want. When that show kicked off, Beyoncé still delivered like only she can. You can never say she doesn't give her full self to the stage. She put her foot in that performance. And even with the heat from critics, she didn't let up for a second. And get this, Bey wanted this one to feel like family vibes, not just another solo moment. So she brought her firstborn, Blue Ivy, up on stage again. And baby girl ain't new to this, she's true to this. Blue danced like a pro, gliding across that stage like she'd been training for years. Confidence, grace, control. She was in her bag. But then came the shock of the night. The big surprise. Little Rumi Carter made her grand debut on stage during Beyoncé's performance of Protector. That moment had everybody's jaw on the floor. Folks were not ready. But the way Rumi popped out, she owned it in the most adorable way. Now listen, Rumi clearly saw those rehearsals, But once she hit that stage, baby girl flipped the script and did her own thing. She wasn't stiff or scared. She was waving to the crowd, full of joy, just soaking in that moment like she'd been doing this forever. And then came the heart melter. Rumi turned right around and gave her mama the sweetest hug right there on stage in front of thousands. Beyoncé tried to keep it together, but she couldn't hold back that proud mama smile. And honestly, neither could we. And when that sweet moment hit, Beyoncé couldn't help herself. She dropped the whole performer act and went full mama mode. She wrapped Rumi up in a big hug right there on stage, and the crowd went wild. It was one of those moments where the lights didn't matter. The music faded into the background. It was just a mother loving on her baby in front of the world. But the surprises didn't stop there. Blue Ivy came back up on stage too when Beyoncé brought out Mama Tina. Yes, Miss Tina Knowles herself. And you could feel the family energy radiating from that stage. Blue had this big old grin on her face the whole time, waving at fans, throwing that confident energy like she knew she belonged in that spotlight. And let's be honest, she did. Now I don't know about you, but I'd bet money Blue been waiting patiently for her chance to step back out. You could tell she missed that stage. And when she got that green light, baby, she hit it with full force like, this is my moment. But here's where it gets real interesting. Did y'all peep the difference between Blue Ivy and Rumi? That contrast was so clear. Blue Ivy was calm, collected, and smooth with every move. She was on point like she had been in rehearsal all week, ready to hit every step. She walked like she'd done this 100 times. True performer vibes. Now Rumi? Oh, she brought a whole different flavor. She wasn't out there trying to nail choreography. She was just soaking in that moment like a happy little superstar. Her joy was pure, no filter, no fear, just waves, hugs, and shining eyes. She lit up that stage without even trying, bringing Rumi out there. That was a perfect choice. Her energy wasn't just cute, it was real, and fans felt it. It gave the whole concert a softer, sweeter layer. Having both of her daughters by her side up there, that had to be huge for Beyoncé. A full circle legacy moment right in front of our eyes.
First of all, I was crying like a baby. Gayle King and Oprah were there, and I mean, we were just in tears because it was so touching to see Beyoncé with her daughters because she's so protective of them.
Now here's where things started getting way out of hand. Ever since Rumi made her debut on the Cowboy Carter tour, folks on the internet just haven't been able to keep it respectful, and the media even messier. Instead of appreciating the moment, people started asking, where's Sir Carter? Like, Beyoncé owes them a full family photo album or something. Just because Rumi was brought out doesn't mean Sir has to be too. But that didn't stop the speculations from rolling in like wildfire. And it got worse, way worse. Soon folks started zooming in on Rumi's every little move on stage, watching her like they were experts. People started making wild claims based on how she waved her hands or moved around, calling it signs and jumping to medical conclusions like they had degrees. They started tossing out terms they barely understand, trying to diagnose this little girl in real time, like it was some kind of trending topic. Even more disrespectful, some people went so far as to say, well, if Rumi acts like this, Sir must be worse. That's why Beyoncé hides him. Like, seriously? That kind of energy is exactly why Beyoncé has always kept her children out of the spotlight. And now the internet is proving she was right. Let's be clear, Beyoncé has never asked for this kind of chaos around her family. And when she opened up just a little, folks flipped it into something toxic. People even started digging into old footage from her homecoming Netflix documentary, pointing out the part where she got real about her pregnancy. She mentioned how tough that journey was, how she dealt with preeclampsia while carrying Rumi and Sir. That's a real condition that affects a lot of women, especially black women over the age of 35. Beyoncé was brave enough to share that, not to spark rumors, but to bring awareness to an issue that doesn't get enough attention. But of course, the internet twisted it. Some tried to connect her high-risk pregnancy to her children's public appearances, as if complications during childbirth automatically mean something now. That's not just messy, it's harmful. Now here's where the story gets heavy. Beyoncé didn't just keep her twins out of the spotlight for style or mystery. It came from a real place. Back in her homecoming documentary, she revealed just how rough her pregnancy actually was. She opened up about facing serious health complications, and let me tell you, it wasn't easy for her. She dealt with high blood pressure that put her at serious risk, and at one point, there were even signs of damage to her liver and kidneys. That's not something you brush off. That's life-threatening stuff. And then came the part that really hit. She shared that during the pregnancy, one of the twins' heart rates actually stopped a few times, and because of that, she had to undergo an emergency C-section. That alone was enough to change her forever, mentally and physically. Beyoncé said herself, "The experience tested her more than she ever thought she could handle. It shook her to her core. So when Rumi and Sir were finally born, her priority wasn't to post photos or parade them around for applause. It was to protect them, give them the chance to grow up peacefully without the shadows of fame swallowing up their innocence." And yet, even with all that context, people are still out here speculating. Some have been trying to suggest that the twins might show signs of developmental delays, and that's been the fuel for a whole new wave of rumors. Instead of respecting that every child is unique and grows on their own time, the internet has turned into a guessing game that crosses all the wrong lines. Even some public figures have crossed that line hard. Azalea Banks made headlines when she took shots at Beyoncé online, telling her to stop hiding her son and accusing her of being ashamed of him. According to Azalea, people will find out eventually, and said Beyoncé would look bad for being too protective. And then came Kanye West. In a move that had people shocked, he allegedly made comments that stirred even more controversy. He went off in one of his rants, reportedly questioning how the twins were conceived and throwing around wild claims about their health. And now, with all this noise surrounding what should have been a sweet moment for Rumi, Beyoncé is officially done. Like, over it completely. That moment was meant to be lighthearted, a proud mama moment shared with her fans, and instead, it spiraled into online drama, wild accusations, and straight up disrespect. And honestly, that's exactly why we can't have nice things. Some folks don't know how to act, and instead of lifting up the moment, they turned it into chaos. Reports are already coming in saying Beyoncé regrets letting Rumi hit the stage. That's the word on the street. And it's not hard to believe. For her, this isn't the first time history has repeated itself. Let's not forget, years ago, when Blue Ivy was about the same age, people were ruthless online. Think pieces and nasty threads were all over the place, tearing apart a little girl's appearance, talking about her hair, her features, just ugly commentary that should have never made it out of someone's mouth, let alone onto a timeline. It was disturbing then, and now it's happening again. This time with Rumi. And if you've been watching closely, you probably noticed something different. When Rumi came back out on stage for day 4 of the Cowboy Carter tour, she wasn't the same bubbly little ball of joy we saw earlier. This time, she was calmer, more quiet, and almost, dare we say, reserved. She wasn't bouncing around with that same wide-eyed wonder. She looked more focused, more poised, and people were quick to compare her to big sister Blue Ivy. It was like someone flipped a switch, and baby girl was in full performer mode. And let's be real, you know Blue Ivy had something to do with that. She probably pulled Rumi to the side after they got back home, gave her a little sister-to-sister coaching, and was like, "Look, you better act like your mama is Beyoncé and your daddy is Jay-Z. Don't go out there looking starstruck. You were born for this." Because let's not forget, Blue Ivy ain't just a performer now. She's basically the backstage boss. Her presence on stage has been cool, confident, and clocked in. So it's only right she passed some of that polished energy down to Rumi.
But the waves, everything, the energy is gone. Y'all, we can't never have nothing. I want the old Rumi back, period. I want the old Rumi back. Why y'all doing too much, all these think pieces, all y'all opinions and shit. Now she gotta come out there and be well behaved. Rumi said, if I can't come out here being myself, speaking to my fans, I'm not doing that dance. I'm just gonna stand here. The girl's so sarcastic though. Y'all seen that little wave when she was like, like, I know what y'all want, but I can't do it. I'm in trouble. They said I gotta do it right, or this gonna be my last stage presence. Like, I don't like that. I don't like that. I don't like that. Let that little girl be.
But here's the part that really hits deep. How is it that people still found a way to tear down a joyful, carefree, beautiful little black girl just out here living her moment? Like, seriously, what are we even doing? Let's be honest. If your mom was Beyoncé and you got to step on stage in front of thousands of screaming fans, you'd be bouncing off the walls too. That's not strange, that's normal. Rumi was excited, glowing, soaking it all in. And instead of celebrating her for just being a happy little girl, some folks chose to dissect it like she was doing something wrong. Now the tide is turning, and people are finally starting to take Beyoncé's side in all this, because there's absolutely no reason anyone should be going in on a child simply for acting like a child. The way some people are trying to push labels or diagnoses on her is not only unnecessary, it's harmful. And let's talk about it. Even if Rumi was neurodivergent in any way, what then? What exactly is the point of making that a headline? What happens next? Does it change her value? Her joy? Her right to be on that stage with her mother? Not at all. Let's say it louder. If a young girl is excited to be on stage surrounded by love, lights, and fans waving back at her, how is that not something to celebrate? How did we go from a sweet moment between a mom and daughter to people throwing around medical terms based on a few seconds of footage? Truth is, Rumi behaved exactly how you'd expect a second grader to act in that situation. Maybe even better. She waved, smiled, hugged her mama, and soaked in that crowd energy like a little superstar. That's not strange behavior, that's childhood. And again, if she is neurodivergent, that still doesn't take away from her moment. It doesn't need to be turned into a diagnosis party on social media. Every child moves through the world in their own rhythm, and that's what makes them beautiful. But sadly, too many people online have turned into self-proclaimed experts, quick to judge what they don't understand. Every time a kid acts a little different, they want to throw a label on it. When in reality, they're just being kids, curious, excited, emotional, and human.
If Beyonce's daughter Rumi is autistic, so what? The world keeps spinning. She looks like a happy child, well taken care of.
So now the big question is, do you think Beyoncé speaking her truth and showing her babies to the world is going to make people chill? Or will the internet keep doing what it always does, twisting the moment, making up stories, and disrespecting a family that's simply trying to protect their peace? Will folks finally let her twins just be, or is the noise only gonna get louder the more she shares? Because one thing's clear, Beyoncé didn't owe anybody that moment. She gave it anyway, and instead of being met with love, she had to deal with assumptions, judgment, and unnecessary drama. It's exhausting. And let's not forget, she's a mother first. That protective energy isn't going anywhere. And neither is her right to decide when and how her children are seen. But now, I want to hear your take. Do you think the public will finally give Rumi and Sir the space to grow up without being under a microscope? Or do you think the chaos is only just getting started? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Let's talk about it. And while you're here, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you never miss a moment with us. You already know we've got more tea, more truth, and more drama coming straight to your screen. Catch you in the next one, my stars and hushers. Stay sharp, stay kind, and stay tuned to StarHush.